Y'all, this is what we mean by not all skin folk is kinfolk, y'all. What is this? This is not a regular person. Watch this. This is crazy, y'all. Y'all hear the noise that she's making? Watch this, y'all. Look, watch.
Hey, go ahead with all that.
Oh my goodness, y'all. I lost it when she said go on ahead with all that, bro. She is not playing. Y'all, the eyes popping out. What is that about?
Hey, go ahead with all that. Go on over there with all that. Go. I'm not even in the mood today. Get away.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Go.
What are you talking about?
Shit.
What are you talking about?
Oh my goodness, y'all. This is in North Carolina. Y'all, the type of noise this lady is making, it sounds like a car trying to start up, but it can't, y'all. That's just crazy, man. But when they told us about this demon face syndrome, people was about to start popping out. There's a lot of strange activities happening around people, seeing entities and feeling entities. Just a lot of paranormal stuff in general. But this right here takes the cake. North Carolina, what is going on? Let me know down in the comments below. My goodness, what the hell? Let's get this shift. Peace in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to just do a regular TikTok compilation. There is no really theme, but it's just some deep stuff that I found that was interesting that I wanted to put together. So you guys are getting an early video because I'm getting ready to take a couple of days off. I have some stuff to take care of and I just need some time to just take care of some stuff. So, but I'm not going to leave you guys without mwah. So here's a video that can hold you guys over until I get back with the content. So I'm not gonna keep y'all, I'm not gonna hold y'all. Let's get this thing started. So without any further ado, go grab whatever you need to chill with me. And then let's get to the content. Let's go.
Did y'all hear what Donald Trump just said about Joe Biden? He literally said the shit that people been saying for years. This man, Donald Trump, just opened the floodgates. He took to his Truth Social and said this, y'all. Look at this. This is not what I'm saying. This is what he wrote, y'all. You can read it yourself. I'm not even finna say nothing. Now, just looking at that, y'all know that shit sound crazy, right? But like I said before, people been saying this shit for years. Just take a look at these pictures. My boy was going through drastic changes, y'all, as you can see by these 4 pictures. One of them, he was maybe happy. One of them, he was maybe stressed. One, he was mad. I don't know. The other one, he just looked like he is finna eat somebody. Now, let's just play the hypothetical. Let's just say hypothetically that this is real, y'all. Do you know how many people that's like higher ups or like in the entertainment business, politicians, anything like that? If this was true, so many others that we suspected could be true too, right? Am I tripping?
Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, but I will say this. It was a lot of like just weirdness and just awkward looks for Joe Biden. And then at times he scratched his back of his neck and it wrinkled like that. Like I understand like old people wrinkle, but no, that was some other type of wrinkle there. That was like some skin suit. Like it was just not right. But let's keep going, y'all.
What do you think is the weirdest thing about humans? They invented money, then spent their whole lives chasing it.
Y'all not hearing them. Y'all not hearing that Google prompt right now, which is crazy. And I'm glad that people are using Google AI video to wake people up, because that's how it should be used. Yes, truthers, I'm gonna get the money to pay that monthly fee, and I'm gonna make some crazy content with Google video. I'm fucking, but y'all not hearing them. Y'all are not. Who created this shit? Who? The Romans. Who said here? You know what a comment you see all the time, and I say this in my live. oh, I don't watch the NFL because it's the Coliseum. Give them bread and circus. Your fucking phone is bread and circus, you dumbass. People act like they're so conscious, but don't understand the bread and circus devices in their hand, where they spend hours a day. Scroll. That's bread and circus, not the NFL. The NFL's the old bread and circus. Guess what? Bread and circus is in your fucking hand. That black mirror is bread and circus. All your screens, obsidian mirrors, are bread and circus, not NBA, NFL. Wake up. But again, who created this shit? Who said this is what we need to chase? And you always hear the terms, money's the root of all evil. People rob, steal, kill for it, be deceptive. But then, truth is right here. Only making content for a like button. And we still do it. Why? What's the purpose? Because our intentions isn't fucking money. It's something bigger. Wake the fuck up. If you're the type of person that types bread and circus when I put on an NFL content, you're not conscious. You're just trying to act like you're conscious. Peace to God.
Y'all tell me what y'all think. I will say this. I think that it's all bread and circuits because it's all there to distract you from what's actually going on. So I think it's all is. I don't watch the NFL like that. I mean, I may watch a game or two, but I'm not really like, just like, woo, you know, just like into that. But, you know, I feel what he's saying, and to each his own. And I think that everybody have their thing that they into, or their isms, or whatever the case may be. Everybody have something that they watching that, but it's all entertainment, and it's all to get you to focus on that and not on something else. So
we wrote about some young girl named Mary Jane Twilliger who was a witch, and her dad found out and he buried her alive. This was in the city right north of where Ellefson lived, and we went out there to go visit that place, and it was creepy. That was it. It was just creepy. I didn't hear any owls. The wind didn't blow. I did hear, this could be another bit of folklore, but somebody pushed her headstone over, and when they went back to their car, they found their car keys on the hood.
I've had a bunch of these experiences. One of them, I was interviewing a friend of mine, priest, his name's Father Dan Rehill. He's an exorcist. I remember when he came in here, he was like, look, weird shit happens when I start talking about this stuff. He's like, the cameras might go out, who knows what. And he was talking about exorcisms, and then he brought up Christ, and the AC unit right there just went on full blast, like immediately, just started whooshing. It's made me realize how real the spiritual realm is. I don't know much about witchcraft.
You don't want to.
What is it?
There are black witches and white witches, that there are witches that do good. Witchcraft is still witchcraft. It's the use of the elements, and there's alchemy, there's wizardry, sorcery, electricity, magic, use of blood, use of spit, use of sperm. I did it 2 times. Both of them worked, and then I went,
are you serious?
this is bigger than I am. That really fucked my life up, and it took years for us to get out of it.
What were your hexes?
One was something that had to do with the guy that actually punched me. What happened was, we went to school that day. The guy walked up to me and just slugged me. The second bus shows up, and we get in the bus and we take off. He's coming up to his house, and he walks through the walkway in the bus and elbows me in the back of the head as he's getting out. And I was trying to fit in, so I had a mouthful of Red Man. And when he hit me, I went, ooh, and I swallowed that shit. That's it. I'm going to do something about this. So I looked through the book, and I found something that would do what I wanted. I did that hex.
What did you want to happen?
I really don't want to get into it because I don't want anybody to be misled and try and figure out what I did. When you open up the doors to the dark, they're not going to wait to be invited in. They're coming.
Do you think you were possessed?
Oh, I know it was. When we went to San Francisco to go see the Filipino priest, he said that he laid hands on me, and the head of a bull came out of my chest.
I will say this. I don't think that you should be delving into stuff that you don't have no idea about. And a lot of stuff, yeah, should just be like avoided, you know?
You think Megan Thee Stallion feels bad?
What she feel bad for? She put him in jail, she lied. And I heard her feet stink. I feel like her just a real bad feet problem. It's just feet odor. I saw her mom. I don't know if it's from the bullet or not. But I heard her feet smell like manure. Right? But I don't know, bro. It's kind of like, but females like that, right? Anytime you kind of like, make a female feel a certain kind of way, they kind of like lie on you. So, you know, she cap. She's like Cassie. That's crazy he got stabbed, though. Yeah. I thought he was going to get before he got stabbed. But, you know.
Do you think this will help him get out faster?
How? How can they help him get out? He ain't got a grievance. How they help him get out, Capone? You sound stupid as shit.
Well, they're saying that.
Fuck what they saying.
One of the people is admitting to actually doing it.
What that mean? How they gonna help him get out? Gonna help them get some more time, but how gonna help him get out?
No. The people with Megan's friend or some shit like that. One of the bodyguards is saying that she's admitting to shooting him. I mean,
okay, that'll get him out, but him getting stabbed won't help him get out. But yeah, but he gonna get killed. Whoever said that, but before he goes to the stand, he gonna be killed. Listen, he's going to jail. He's staying in jail till it's over. How much time he got? 14, 15 years?
I think he got like 10 years.
We see him then. Tell him to get comfortable. Tell him to shut the up before they stab him again. He knew the rules we got in this shit. I had niggas act like girls. He knew the rules.
It be just his delivery that just be just. But you know, I never really thought the whole story was truthful. I did think that there was holes in it, but you know, I'm gonna keep my opinion to myself. But if with the truth shall be revealed completely, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
I recently asked my friend's little girl what she wanted to be when she grows up. She said she wanted to be the President of the United States. Both of her parents, liberal Democrats, were standing there. So I asked her, if you were president, what would be the first thing you would do? Well, she replied, I'd give food and houses to all the homeless people. Her parents beamed. Wow, what a worthy goal, I told her. But you don't have to wait until you're president to do that. You see, you can come over to my house right now and you can mow the lawn, pull weeds, and sweep my driveway, and I'll pay you $50. Then, I'll take you over to the grocery store where that homeless guy hangs out, and you can give him the $50 to use toward food and a new house. She thought that over for a few seconds, then she looked me straight in the eye and asked, why doesn't the homeless guy come over and do the work, and you can just pay him the $50? I said, welcome to the Republican Party. Her parents are still not speaking to me.
I'm not a part of any party. I'm not even into politics. I used to be, but I'm not, because I already know it's just bread and circus. So, but y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. But that was clever. That was clever though.
Ray J just said that Suge Knight was the real diddler, y'all. This man Ray J was on Twitch, and he started talking about the time when Diddy's sons was trying to beat him up because they thought he was talking about Diddy taking men. But he said no, the whole time he was talking about Suge Knight. And what he said, y'all, listen to this.
I said asses are being taken. Asses are being taken in ways that nobody can explain. Niggas was talking about Diddy. That's why I got into it with his sons, because they talking about Suge taking niggas, not Diddy. Suge is a big ass for men, bro. He used to go to the store and get that nigga like 25 sticks of like butter, parquet butter, the sticks. He used to take them back and he used to shove them up.
I'm pretty sure y'all know what he was about to say at the end. He used to shove it up men's. You know what? Y'all, it's more. Hold up. Listen to this one too.
Suge used to take niggas, right? I used to go upstairs. Like, I don't know if you saw Pulp Fiction, but when Ving Rhames, they tied the nigga up. They had the ball in the nigga.
This is sick.
With the chair, and then the nigga came in, right? That's the kind of shit Suge did to niggas. It's called handlebars. He used to strap it onto the nigga, and then they got the handlebars like you riding on a bike. He used to grab the handlebars and
It's so many things wrong with what Ray J was just saying, y'all. First of all, he real live incriminated himself on some shit. And then the fact that Ray J said it wasn't just men that he was doing this to, it was women too. And you were there? How slow can people be, bruh? And then I'm just stuck on the fact that he said he went to the store to buy the butter. And he was there in the home while this shit was happening. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down below in the comments. This shit crazy, fool.
First of all, Ray J looked high as shit. And some things we didn't need to know. I didn't even need the visual of him explaining that, because, oh my goodness. But they do say the big thugs be the ones that be, you know, down low. But y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments.
Why did they keep this a secret? You have 3 seconds to scroll. If you have an Abrahamic religion, this could change your life. If you're going to stay, please proceed with caution. I respect and walk with all religions, but I am married to my mission, and my mission is married to the truth. This was about a man who was not an African man, but was born into an African kingdom. His people was different from the African people who lived in this kingdom, and they were oppressed by the African people who lived in this kingdom. And the king ordered the unaliving, I'm going to say on this platform, of newborn babies. So like in many myths, his mother puts him into a basket and lets it sail downstream in hopes to save her newborn. The king's daughter finds this basket with the baby in it, and she adopts this boy into their royal home. This man grows up as royalty, but in self-defense, he kills a man and flees this African kingdom. Can you guess who this man is? Stop and comment below if you think you know. He flees and marries an Ethiopian woman, and he stays with the clan or the tribe under the priest of her father. And one day, while watching his father-in-law's flock, he runs into a burning bush. Now, this is when it gets interesting. Now, many of you know who I'm talking about by now. You should, because we're talking about Moses. Now, when Moses runs into this burning bush, he runs into a god. And I did not say God, I said a god, and I'm gonna tell you why. This God says that I am the God of your people. I am the God El Shaddai. That's what your ancestors called me. I did not reveal myself as Yahweh to them. Now, there are some questions here that need to be answered. Okay, the first question, what does Yahweh mean when he says my people? Because he claims that the people of Israel, Moses' bloodline, is his people. Because remember, the assumption is this God created the entire world, created everything. So why are these his people? Bear with me, family. I'm going through some tooth pain, so I might be talking funny. I'm going to answer all these questions, but the next question comes, if there is no other gods, why does Yahweh feel compelled to explain to Moses that he is not only specifically Yahweh and specifically his God, and that they specifically belong to him, but on top of that, he needs to explain the God El Shaddai, who Abraham and many of your ancestors came into contact with, is me. Why does he feel the need to explain that to Moses if he is the only God within existence? Then a more unsettling question comes about. How do we know that Yahweh is El Shaddai? I mean, Moses has to just take this being in this bush on his way. I mean, he just has to have faith that this entity is not lying.
Continue to let him cook, but y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm interested to see where he's going with it. But I will say this, that in Genesis it says, let us make man in our image. Us. So who are the us? It's Elohim is a plural. So, but let's keep going. Let's let him cook.
Things that Yahweh could be, right? Angels, demons. Because if we're talking about a supernatural world, I mean, there's a whole host of things that Yahweh could be, right? Angels, demons, other gods, a magician, so many things. So, is Yahweh El Shaddai? I mean, how do we know they behave so differently? And I'm not saying that they're two separate gods here. I'm just posing the question to you. El Shaddai is very nurturing, very parental. Yahweh is no such thing. Yahweh is a God of war, and he makes it very clear. Very bloodthirsty. So now let me explain what's happening here. Moses and his people know many gods, and they believe in many gods. They are called henotheists, people who may worship one God above all, but they acknowledge the existence of many other gods. This is how the Old Testament is written, Monotheism at this time did not exist. Sorry, y'all. And so when you read it today, you're reading monotheism into the text in question. You don't believe me? Go to the Dead Sea Scrolls and open up to Deuteronomy. The Dead Sea Scrolls, the oldest that we got, by the way. Deuteronomy 32:8-9. When the Most High written, this was written as El Elyon, gave inheritance, when he separated the children of men, he set bounds of the people, according to the number of the sons of God, which was sons of El, or bin Elohim. For Yahweh's portion is his people. Jacob, who becomes Israel if you know scripture, is the lot of his inheritance. So this is new to a lot of people, and that's because in the Masoretic text, I'm not even pronouncing that right, but that text was originally used as like one of the oldest, if not the oldest text to use translations by. It put sons of Israel, but they did that intentionally. The original words was written as the sons of God, and they did this because they did not want anyone knowing that Yahweh is the son of El Elyon, the Most High. Yahweh is one of the sons of God. You can go read it yourself, it's there. So going back to these questions that was posed, so the reason why Yahweh says my people is because they were given to him as an inheritance from his father, the Most High. Let's go further. If there are no other gods, why did Yahweh have to explain that he is El Shaddai? Because there are other gods, and he has to make these things clear. There's Baal, there's Asherah, there's so many other deities. So he has to make this clear. And the reason why they behave differently is because, well, this only one could really guess, is because Yahweh as a deity changes over time, because humanity, his people, are changing over time. That's a whole nother conversation. We can get into that another time, but this happens at the Tower of Babel. If you want a video of me breaking down the Tower of Babel and how that story changes in context to the Dead Sea Scrolls, let me know. And what you need to understand is that the Most High, El Elyon, or the Elohim, which is the Council of Gods, they wanted humanity to spread the Garden of Eden, to spread, that's what humans used to do. The Amazon rainforest is a food forest, a giant food forest. So listen, we are escaping this matrix. You are trapped in matrix and you don't even know. You're trapped in this called civilization. You're not supposed to be paying mortgages, paying bills, working jobs. If you want to escape that, go to the link at the top of the page. In the bio, you're going to see FAMS, a book called FAMS, a book called the first book, a book called the second book. Get FAMS for free on Audible. Read them all. It's in the link at the top of the page. I love.
Yeah. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Let me know.
There is something extremely weird and extremely Walt Disney going on, if you get what I'm saying. The farther I look into the plane crash that happened 2 days ago, the crazier it gets. So I'm sure you've heard by now, it was Daniel Williams, the former drummer for the Devil Wears Prada, that passed away in the 666 plane, the one that hit the military housing. But there was something just majorly off about it. This was his last Instagram story saying, hey, you look at me, I'm the co-pilot now. We'll get to the weirdest part in 1 second, but you may know they have a song called Sacrifice, and it had this kind of cover of some guy, right? And would you believe me if it doesn't look just like Daniel? And as if it was not weird enough that the guy who passed away in the plane crash 666 was a bandmate of the Devil Wears Prada. Now this right here is the most damning part. Do y'all remember when the movie Frozen came out? And everyone thought the movie Frozen came out because something with Walt Disney may be happening. That way they they could just completely cover up the Google search. Within just 12 hours of a plane going down having the number 666 with Daniel Williams on that plane, the former member of Devil Wears Prada, the Devil Wears Prada 2 starts advertising for their new movie all over the place. Just hours after a member of the Devil Wears Prada passes away. And all of a sudden you type in Devil Wears Prada on Google and you start getting advertisements for their new movie. Something is not right, especially that the news allegedly got caught using an old picture of the plane because they weren't able to find. I don't know what they told you, but these coincidences, they do grow on trees apparently.
Wow. However, The Devil Wears Prada is one of my favorite movies.
I think on one side of it, I think we really do have an entire subspecies of creatures that do exist mostly inside the earth, and they are not readily surface dwelling anymore. And I do believe, like in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, man, beside the London Bridge is a massive room, like a throne room, where they engage in this magic. But this Brotherhood of the Serpent, they call upon Nahash, the dragon. And
would that be in normal terms Satan?
Yeah, most people know him as Satan, right? Yeah. But like there is a great red dragon. Like it's a physical, that's what he looks like in reality. He was cursed, and man, he made him a monster. Yahweh made him a monster. And they would commune with these things. There's 13 grandfathers take 13 of their grandsons, and they bring them into these rooms and do these things on these specific times and rituals for all kinds of stuff. But the dragons tell them the future. This is like always what they've been able to do is Satan leads Yeshua up onto a great high place and says, I shows him all the nations of the earth and all their kingdoms and their reigns in a moment of time. He shows them the future. That's what they do. They can show you what's to come. This is why we get hunted by them. He knows if we're going to be part of his adversaries. He knows if we're going to be on his enemy list. And that's why he targets us at our youth. That's what so happens. So many people, they're like, why has my life been a nightmare from the beginning? It's because you have a purpose and a destiny that adversary absolutely categorically does not want to come to pass. It's a real life Terminator scenario. And so he sends his assets in to destroy people, to ruin their life. And those meeting places happen when they sit down in these rooms and they try to call up these creatures. It's from inside the earth. It wasn't like ethereal mist. They were physical things that would come out of these tunnels, and they would come into the room and they would consume the offerings that were given there. And then the words of the Nahash would come forth, and they would prophesy to these guys. Like they would prophesy out of the mouth of the serpent what each one of their life callings, their shots. He's the shot caller, man. It's like a pimp from prison. He's calling the shots, and you had a bunch of fallen watchers that were in prison in Tartarus for a reason. Yeah, but they got ways of getting messages out, just like the cronies in jail today, and that's what a lot of people are dealing with. They think they're dealing with the top dog, and they're like, I'm finally into the big game. And it's like, you're dealing with, a private in the hierarchy, but he can masquerade like a general. And so some people are really dealing with death himself, and some of them are dealing with one of his princes. And this is what my family's covenant was with the dragon. They didn't mess around, man. They went all the way to the chain of command. They uncovered a bunch of my great-grandfather's grandfather was an archaeologist who dug into the Indian mounds out in the Ohio River Valley. And they started finding a priest class that was these serpent worshipers. And that's what they started calling upon. And they started trying to wake up and rise up Huachiblos, which is these deities, these dragon fire deities.
It's him saying the names, like he knows their legit name. Like I don't even want to say the name, but Inner Earth, I'm gonna do that on my next video because I always told you guys, I don't believe it's fully flat. I feel like it's dimensions, it's levels to it, and I do believe that there's an Inner Earth, and I do believe that there's things that we think that is like mythical, but that's not at all.
These to me were people. I'm more like a beast, man. I was ripping people's throats out with my teeth when I was a child to survive a fight. Like that does something to you when you try to see other children playing with a bat wing toy or whatever, and you're like, you're puking blood in the toilet.
Yeah.
Because of all the crap you just went through the night before, and like you are unrelatable to men anymore. You can't comprehend the things that are in your mind when you have been defiled so systemically for so long. And so I just lived with dogs. I literally would flee into the yards with people and I would crawl into the dog loos and just survive the night. But then that wasn't enough, man, because these were city dogs. Then I started looking for the feral ones, man. I started looking for the coyotes, and then I started looking for the wolves and crawling into their dens because I can imitate any of them, man. I can crawl around like a dog and be like a
serious?
dog. You bet, man.
Wow.
You can get them to take you in if you know their language, if you know their gestures. You can learn all of this stuff, man. And like when you're little, when you're like a child, they'll treat you different, Yeah. And they man, I literally ended up living with these things. And they're like, I have this love for wolves because of that, because I've understood what a companion can be when you're desperate and distraught. And like, these were my best friends. And that sounds so weird to people, but like when I was a child, I bonded with the animals. I wanted to murder all the people because people were monsters. I couldn't imagine a world of the living. I got so lost in the world of the dead. And I just wanted to find some semblance of innocence and purity. And I could not find it in people because everybody was manipulating me. I was nothing but an asset to them. And I didn't know which end of me they wanted. Do they want my skills? Do they want what do they want from me? And so it perverted my understanding of people. And so I just fled to animals. And that's where I talk to these creatures and live with them. Well, then you start encountering these other ones, and you start to befriend them. And it just becomes like a pack. Well, then my family would rip me away from that and move, and I would have to try to find a new one. And there was this just constant destabilization. And so there's a lot of people that get caught in that world, man. And people brand them as feral children, like you might want to call it, or whatever you want to call it, man. But they're survivors. That's what they are, man. They're overcomers. They're the remnant. They're the leftovers of nightmares. And you know what? They're some of the most incredible people or things that have ever been. And that's why I'm here to preach the gospel to every creature. That's what it says. My commission from my king who gave me my marching orders is to preach the gospel to every creature. And that's what I'll do, man. I'll do it in the tunnels. I'll do it everywhere, from the tops of the roofs to the bottom of the earth. But I'm much more familiar and comfortable down there than I am out here. This is the world of oddities, where people think this stuff is like legend and myth and strangeness. And it's like, you go into these families, they broker deals with this stuff. They get down with these things and they generationally raise their children to have that seed line in them.
Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments.
That was like the sole deepest desire that I had, was I wanted people to know freedom, because I had been so deprived of it from day one. And there's this practice of switching mothers. You'll have a cult mother, and then they have your regular mom, and then they create this trauma bonding so that you'll bond with anybody that they want you to do. And this happens by taking you away from your mom and your dad constantly and giving you new mom and dad, new uncles, new aunts, right? And so you're living in this constant state of destabilization. And so it's as that destabilization happens and that patterning is built up, that's when a lot of the programming comes in to stabilize these new personalities and these new pursuits and endeavors. But I had this zealousness to see injustice stopped, and they preyed on that. And so they gave me opportunities to fight back against these perverts who were abusing children, and they would build up in me this rage, this need for vengeance, and then they would let me release that on somebody. And in the beginning, it was people I knew were bad guys I'd seen abuse children, and I would slice their throats up, man. I would tear them to freaking ribbons. And I loved it, because I finally felt like I could stop something that I knew was evil. And I thought this was the way to stop all these monsters in the world. I just wanted to hunt monsters in the night. I just wanted to go down in the tunnels and hunt. And that's what they kind of created in me, this just freak of a need to hunt.
First of all, that's disturbing. That is very toxic, and it's very horrible for the kid to jump them from and give them new mommies, new daddies. Like, that is so horrible. But the tunnels, if you guys been watching my videos from the beginning, I've been talking about these tunnels and the traffic that's be going on with the kids and the underground tunnel systems. Let's keep going.
So this man Elon Musk showed up to the Oval Office what appears to be a black eye, y'all. But how he said he got it, I'm like, ain't no fucking way. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. It was kind of weird to me, bruh. He was doing some weird movements before one of the reporters ultimately asked, hey, what happened to your eye? This man really said his 5-year-old did that to his eye. You expect me to believe that a 5-year-old did that to your eye, fool? He said he told him, punch him in the eye. This all went down at the farewell event after Elon Musk ultimately said he was stepping down from Doge. But here's where it get weird, y'all. A New York Times reporter dropped the same week accusing Elon Musk of using heavy drugs. I'm talking about the Jones that get you higher than a kite. I'm talking ketamine, mushrooms, ecstasy. Sounds familiar, right? Did he? Now get this. What if it's not even from a punch? What if it's from like a Neuralink or some shit messing with his brain? I don't know, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. But look at the video.
I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk, what is your eye okay? What happened to your eye? I noticed was a bruise there.
Well, it wasn't anywhere near France, so, but,
what does that mean?
First lady of France. I didn't know. So, yeah, no, I just wasn't around with the Lex, and I said, go ahead, punch me in the face, and he did. Turns out even a 5-year-old punching you in the face actually does. That was it.
Now y'all heard Donald Trump, he said, I didn't even notice it. Maybe that's because that man was trying to cover it up. Y'all heard how many times he started? He was like, that boy started malfunctioning.
I mean, shoot, if he doing all that, then he really on his Diddy stuff. But however, there is the Black Eye Club where they put with the real. However, I think I'm going to put that in one of my next. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the next video or the video after that, but we're gonna discuss that. But how they put the real, whatever the parasite through the eye, and then once it goes through the eye and it travels to the brain, it takes over the brain, and from that point on, the host is now being controlled by the parasite. It's disgusting.
So Texas is about to have a stressful ass summer. Matter of fact, the rest of your 2025 Texas is about to be stressful. So basically, Texas is banning marijuana. If you smoke it, you getting locked up. Texas is also banning vibrators, lady. Vibrators. And of course, to top it off, Texas is making porn illegal. And what that says to me is that Texas is tired of seeing you enjoy yourself. See, I went down that rabbit hole in Texas. I found out that y'all not getting locked up like they want y'all to be locked up. And I've been to Texas a couple of times, and I also seen in Texas that it's a lot of liquor stores, a lot of different places. And guess what? Liquor sales is down. So you take that, the liquor sales, and then you see that jails ain't been jailing like they usually are jailing, and you understand why they would do some shit like this. Marijuana ain't hurting nobody, but they want you to get drunk, they want you to go out there and act a fool, and want you to get locked up. So what do? They say, listen, if you smoke marijuana, you gonna get locked up. So you can go buy some liquor. And ladies, they say you can't do X, Y, and Z. What we want you to do is leave the vibrators alone, come on outside and drink some alcohol and go get locked up. And I ain't got the theory for porn. You shouldn't be watching porn anyway, but it's your own business. But, you know, they banning porn too. Texas, y'all gonna have it rough in a few, boy. That's wild.
That is very wild. I personally am not a drinker. And if I drink something, it's going to be super like fruity, and it's probably going to have like the minimal amount of alcohol in it. And if I taste the alcohol, I won't drink it. I feel sorry for the porn watchers because they be addicted to porn. And as for the vibrators, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to implement this law. I don't know how they're going to do this, but this is an interesting law. Honestly, it's very intrusive into people's personal business. So everybody, we've made it to the end of the video. Number one, I almost messed up my curl. I want to thank you guys for sitting through, it wasn't that long. This was a short video. I wanted to make sure like I said, I didn't leave you guys without some of me while I'm gone for a few days to go and do what I got to take care of. I'm about to tell you, I'm about to end it, but I'm going to end it in just a second. I will be back next week with a brand new video, and then we'll be back to, our normal regular schedule. I hope that you guys learned something. I have fun filming it. Of course, I tell you guys every time after I film it, I gotta go be a mama because that's what I do. My babies, my girls. But I love you guys. You guys are family. We will see you guys next week. Until then, bye.